quick question for you today. After this workshop, what was really your immediate value that you got out of the workshop, and how will you apply those new skills?
Okay, so the immediate value I'd have to say is I never recognized that there were many stakeholders in my COP, in my community of practice. I was just thinking about the community itself, but of course there's the client who asked for the community of practice to be created, the funders, there are people who are waiting for the products that come out of the community of practice. So it's really recognizing everyone, recognizing that there are many people who are getting value out of this community of practice, not purely the community members. And the second part was about how I apply.
Yeah, how do you apply it?
Well, very directly, I have a community of practice that I have to do an after action review of, and I will be applying the framework that I learned here to evaluate that community of practice.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, keep us posted.
I'm Lisa Moicambo from Johns Hopkins Center for Communication Programs, and the immediate value I found were interacting with a number of people from organizations that I typically don't, as well as the exposure to liberating structures and a number of technology platforms that I haven't been aware of. And so the potential value is I want to take this information and I want to share with my colleagues. Also, like the framework, I think that a number of my colleagues can really value from. And I want to look into Drip, I want to look into Slack, I want to look into Zoom. And thank you very much, KM4Dev Seattle.
Well, as a brand new community of practice kind of coordinator, I definitely learned a lot about what KM4Dev has as resources to help me apply my skills in a better way to really help elevate my community practice at the Nature Conservancy. I think one of the highlights is really the value creation and the story that you can create through that process. And I think what I've learned is that as an iterative process, you really need to have external stakeholders, and you need to understand your audience and what they really need from you. So going through that stepwise process and understanding the value at each of those steps was very critical for me, and will hopefully help me tell a better story to our executive suite and all others at the Nature Conservancy.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lander.
So first I have to clarify, I only had the opportunity to be here today, and that was incredibly valuable to be able to learn from what I heard from everybody experiencing it yesterday, so I felt like I was cheating in that respect. So I needed to set that context, but the opportunity to learn about the framework as a particular tool that in my assessment nests really beautifully into so many existing frameworks and tools that are common in practice in terms of thinking about outcomes and logic frames and impact. And the value for me is really adding in so much more specificity to the value proposition at specific stages. So I feel like a lot of other frameworks are good at the immediate value and at the realized value, and even thinking about transformational. We talk a lot about vision and what's out there. And really thinking about the potential value and the applied value. Those steps to me were just really revelatory, that if you can get super clear about the value that you're getting at those stages, then that to me fills in that value creation story, so that you can tell that narrative with so much more specificity and therefore resonance about that plausible correlation, that plausible contribution to the ultimate value at the end. So,
and then do you have an idea of how you will use this value creation framework into the work that you do? Do you have an example?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a specific community of practice that I'm engaged with, and I think there's much more specificity that we need to get in terms of really eliciting the stories of value creation at every stage. We've done some case studies, and I want to go back and look at those case studies and see how they map to the specific criteria of what makes a good value creation story. And so I think we missed some things. I think we tried tried to tell that story, but having this framework helps us think about what did we miss last time, so what do we want to include in the next case study.
That's great. And this is the last question. So how would you rate this workshop? A thumbs up, thumbs down?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
Meeting people who like the same stuff as I do.
Fabulous. How about the potential?
I came away with a couple of ideas. Actually, the main thing I'm taking away is a conversation I had about leadership and the leadership and how we need to distinguish between social learning leadership or leadership of a COP and learning citizenship, what we call learning citizenship. And otherwise there's a tendency to say everybody's a leader and everybody's a follower. And I realize that this concept we have of being a learning citizen is a form of leadership, but it's something different from what we mean by social learning leadership. So anyway, that was my big take, my aha moment.
Well, it's been immensely practical, and that's the reason I came, is because I didn't want to read another book or a toolkit. I wanted to be with my fellow practitioners and hear what they're doing, what they're struggling with, the successes they're having, the tactics that they're using, because I have a very immediate application for this just-in-time knowledge share.
Oh, great. And so that immediate application, are you planning to use that application and the skills that you gain here into, kind of work outside of this workshop?
Yes. We're just launching this week, in fact, 2 new communities of practice. We've designed what the program's going to look like, a mixture of in-person work, virtual work, asynchronous work, and so there's lots of ideas I've gotten for activities that we can weave in through this design process. So I'm thinking about things that we'll do when we meet in person.